So thank you very much for inviting me here, for all of you attending as well. I'm here to talk about light as an immersive and interactive experience. There are numerous project examples that they actually use light in new ways and engage the public. The interactive nature of lighting is celebrated in new ways, and it's blurring the boundaries between what we conceive as art and architecture lighting. So we all need to adapt as a profession. And that brings questions about the definition of the lighting design. Who is really a lighting designer? And in a context of an immersive and engaging light installation, does it really matter? Lighting is a design tool as we know it, and it can transform a space into a place. It's a destination, and it's a part of a multisensory experience. At the end of the day, in the center of everything is humans. So, what about projected light? Projected light as an art form. The Atelier des Lumières in Paris has recently launched an exhibition that is an interactive exhibition, and it features the likes of Picasso, Klimt, Hunter Wasser, the Viennese artist and architect. And it's a truly immersive exhibition where we leave the 2D and we go to the 3D. And as a result, the spectators are part of the exhibits themselves. Another recent example is this project called Transcending Boundaries by Studio Lab. The visitor goes through a series of rooms. At first, there is complete darkness, but then there is a light and color play. Visitors are immersed in between colors and shapes and flowers, and they're really plunged into the experience. The room boundaries are lost, and this is defining a completely new space. This is a fine example of how lighting technology has evolved and the new tools it has created for us. But what happens when we leave the confinement of a control room and we go outside? What happens in the lighting experience in the public domain? The Lyon Festival of Lights has been around for quite some time, in fact, since 1852. It has definitely evolved since, and in that process, it has prompted other cities to go on and adopt different lighting festivals. Among the most recent examples is the Lumière Festival in London in 2016. 2016 was the first year, but in fact, in that first 4 days, it managed to attract 1.3 million visitors. This is definitely a very interesting example of how things have changed and how the public is really ready to truly embrace seeing the city under a new light. Spectacle aside, and the lighting festivals itself are becoming a very interesting way of having their own life and basically becoming an economic asset for the host city. It's a pole of attraction, and they're informing what I call the economy of light. Last year for Christmas, my team and I at GIA Equation, we went to Amsterdam to attend the festival, the Amsterdam Lighting Festival. In fact, this is an installation we've seen at the time under very interesting extreme weather conditions. But nonetheless, we are one of the few visitors that they were attracted by the festival itself. And it's interesting to see how the scene is changing, how cities like Amsterdam or smaller cities in the UK like Durham are adopting lighting festivals to create revenue, to create a nighttime economy. So how is all this made possible? It's made possible by the technological advances by smart tools, smart controls, and smart cities. According to the Wired magazine, it is predicted that half of the new businesses by 2020 will be run by the Internet of Things. Connectivity plays a very important role in the cities. Data logging, it's a revolution. Is it also an uncontrollable trend? Every person carries a phone. A phone is basically a data logging and a data sharing device. So before, in the old days, if you wanted to express yourself in the urban setting, you may be spraying the underpass of a bridge. Nowadays, from the comfort of your own phone, from your own home, you can actually access and change the light on a bridge, change the lighting on a facade. Things are constantly evolving, and individuals are given the power of creative interference. This creates endless design possibilities for us as designers, but also responsibilities. So we have to adopt a critical design thinking and not apply technology for technology's sake. So how this is informed in an urban context? I'm sure you all heard about Illuminated River, a recently won competition that has an international standard, more than 105 submissions, 2.5 miles in length, the site, and the longest public art commission. It's focusing on the illumination of 15 bridges across the River Thames. Perhaps I'm a bit biased because I have seen this competition at its very inception, before there was ever an Illuminated River Foundation. And I'm sure you all have your opinions about the shortlisted and the winning scheme. But what's important to say here, and what we need to acknowledge, that it's a well-intended commissioning of high importance, not just for London and its nightscape, but also for the lighting profession as a whole. It puts lighting in the forefront of the discussion. It introduces lighting in an urban scale, in boardrooms, in meeting rooms, among city councils and city halls. So this is extremely important for us as designers, as presidents. London is a black canvas, and the illuminated bridges will become what it's teaching the North and the South. So all of the above was setting the scene for what I wanted to present, the case study epilogue. This March, my team and I at GIA Equation, we entered an international competition about the Oxford Street lighting illuminations. The competition is organized by New West End Company, TfL, and Westminster City Council. The site is 2 kilometers long, extending from Marble Arch to Tottenham Court Road. And it's about festive Christmas illuminations. These illuminations have, though, a sustainable agenda and also a legacy. It's about the public engagement and obviously adding marketing value to the retail area. Rest assured, that was a very challenging site. I remember the first few days when we visited, it was still really, really cold. Christmas is an even more intense, visually intense period. There is a lot going on. What can you put there that is new? What can you put there that stands out from the illuminations of the shop fronts themselves? So we came up with Kaleidoscape. This was our submission. Sorry. Oops. Yeah. So Kaleidoscape, it's an immersive and interactive experience. And it's about the play of light and color. It's inspired by Aurora Borealis. It's inspired by the fragile spectrum of colors in the surfaces of bubbles and the light refraction through prisms. What we try to create at GIA Equation with a team obviously composed by architects, lighting artists, structural engineers, and so on, was an ornament that had the ability to transmit light and play with light in different interactive and emerging ways. We try to interpret the idea of Christmas, the notion of Christmas, not necessarily with a literal ornament like a star or a snowball or something relevant to Christmas, but with a feeling of joy and togetherness, and that's what we wanted to give to Oxford Street. So, what we created effectively is a lighting Lego, as I like to call it. A module that can be put together and reconfigured each year at different configurations and shapes, and uses different materiality. The different materiality helps it to transmit light with diachroic film, to reflect light with mirror surfaces, and to be projected upon with mesh. And these combinations between materiality and shapes and structures create very interesting complexions and possibilities for Oxford Street lighting. We were also very interested and conscious of the material decision for both day and nighttime operation. And I think that's made us stand out in this competition. What we didn't want to do is to have an empty cell for visitors to go during the day and see something that they have to wait in the evening to see. We wanted visitors to go to Oxford Street, appreciate the light, have the shimmering play of daylight through the diachroic film, and then go back in the evening to see the lights on. In other words, to engage and re-engage them and invite them back. Kaleidoscape stands for kaleidoscopic cityscape. And it's about the notion of a kaleidoscope and the patterns it creates and how these are creating a truly immersive and interactive experience for the public. So as an installation, it reacts with its surroundings and it reacts with people. So part of the brief that we had was effectively allowing places for interaction for the public and engaging the public in some way. To meet that requirement in the brief, we used the same Lego, effectively, prismatic Lego, to create screens at different locations throughout Oxford Street. And in these locations, the public will be able to engage with the content that was to be displayed. The main intention behind it was also to engage with retailers, that they could possibly sponsor some of this content. And we see the content as more of a festive content rather than a particular product or a retail message. It is not about the product, it's about the retail experience. So how does it work? You take a selfie or a photo with the Oxford Street background. Then that goes into a cloud. Then there is some time delay for the content to be filtered and checked for appropriateness. I'm sure you understand why this might need to be. And then they send you an email with the time that it will be projected. These effectively can be replicated and sent out to social media. And you're also invited back to Oxford Street itself to see the message and be part of this. As a result, the general public are the main marketing tool, and we use them to promote the Oxford Street lighting and the whole experience. So, as a conclusion, I wanted to share with you this today, that lighting as a profession is changing, is adapting, and we really need to adapt with it. We need to invite and allow for new technologies. We need to filter that and apply critical thinking. And we need to evaluate what we see and what we apply in our urban environment. Most importantly, and what was quite unique in this competition, and I'm sorry, but I could only share with you some of the information. We are being shortlisted, but we're still waiting for the final announcement of the results. So maybe next year I'm back, you never know. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that what is important is that we were the only shortlisted team that was led by lighting design practice. Sure, we had architects and artists and engineers helping along, but this is the important message to all of you. I would like to see more lighting designers getting whatever opportunity to lead lighting design competitions, because we really need to claim our right to influence our nighttime environment and create our own iconic architecture of the night. Thank you.